Hey everybody, welcome back to American Textbook Reading. I'm Brian Stuart. In this lesson, Lesson 9, we're going to talk about the sky. In other words, when you look up at the sky, you can see many different things. You can see different things at night. You can see other things during the day. So in this unit, you will discover objects in the sky. What are those things in the sky? And also, since we're talking about night and day, we're going to talk about how night and day are caused. How are night and day caused, right? What's the difference? Why is there sometimes night? Why is there sometimes day? That's what we'll discover in this lesson. But let's start with one of those things that you can see in the sky, especially at night. When you look up at the night sky, wow, there are so many of these things. So many points of light, right? Those are all stars. A star is a bright object, We can see it. Bright means it's light. It's giving off light. It's a bright object in the sky. There's so many stars in the night sky. And it's a bright object in the sky that makes its own light. A star is the only object that makes its own light. Why? Because stars are basically huge balls of gas that are burning and they're giving off light. As they burn, they give off light. And so we can see many stars in the night sky. There's so many of them. Our sun, during the daytime, can you see many stars? You can only see one star, and that is our sun. The sun is a star, but it's our star. It's a special star, so we call it the sun. It's the only star that we call the sun. The sun is the star closest to the earth, right? And especially when we're talking about the universe. There's so many stars out there, but our sun is the closest to the earth by far, right? Any other star is really far away. So far, we could never go there, okay? It was just so far away. The sun is the star closest to the earth. The sun, what does it do? It gives us light. It gives us warmth. So the sun gives us two things. One, it gives us warmth. It warms the earth to a temperature where we feel comfortable. It also gives us light so we can see, especially during the daytime. So the sun gives us warmth and light. Okay, so the sun is the biggest thing we see in the daytime, right? That's the most impressive or the biggest object we see in the daytime sky. In the nighttime sky, the biggest thing we see, the most impressive thing we see is the moon. And here's the moon over here. Very impressive, very beautiful, isn't it, actually at night? The moon is the round object. It's round. It's shaped like a circle. Most objects in space are round. The sun is round. The moon is round. The earth is round. If we got away from the earth and looked back, it would be round. So all these objects in space are round. A few objects are not round, but almost all objects in the sky are round. Planets, stars, moons, they're all round. The moon is a round object that moves around the earth. So the moon is moving around the earth. We'll see a diagram of that later, but it's moving around the earth. The earth doesn't move around the moon. No, the moon moves around the earth. Okay, let's continue. Planet. Now, the moon is not a planet. The earth is a planet. A planet is an object. Okay, we're talking about objects, right? We'll talk about objects. That moves around the sun. So the moon is moving around the earth, but the earth is moving around the sun. How many planets are in the solar system? Do you know? There are 8 planets in our solar system. When I was a kid, we used to say there were 9 planets in the solar system. But recently, astronomers have said that Pluto, poor Pluto, he's not a planet anymore, okay? He's just a large object out there. So we've got Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus. These are planets. Pluto, astronomers don't count as a planet anymore. Poor Pluto, right? he's 왕다. Okay, he's not called a planet anymore. Astronomers just call him like a large object, but it's also moving around the sun. So planets are big, large bodies of gas or hard rock that are moving around the sun. Look at how big the sun is compared to all the planets, okay? Of course, this isn't to scale, but the sun is very, very, very big according to the different planets. Okay, so we have several planets. We have 8 planets in our solar system. Used to be 9, but scientists, they didn't like Pluto, so they said he's not a planet anymore. So we have 8 planets in our solar system. Now, we have this idea here, rotate. So before we said that the planets move around the sun, but the planets themselves are moving not around something, but they're moving by themselves around a pole. Rotate means to spin. So rotate means to spin like this. If I take this pen and I turn it like this, I am spinning the pen. It is revolving around in this direction. Day and night happen when the Earth rotates. We'll take a look at that. But let me teach you guys something here. Do you see this direction here? The Earth is rotating. So when we say rotate, what direction does the Earth rotate? It's important to take a look at. This motion here, okay, if it's going like this, we can talk about clockwise or counterclockwise. Take a look at this here. If we have a clock, 12 o'clock is here, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Now normally the clock hands move like this, don't they? They move in this direction. This direction, if something is spinning in this direction to the right in a circle, we call that clockwise. Clockwise. However, the Earth doesn't move or rotate in a clockwise direction. It rotates in the opposite direction. So clockwise, the opposite of clockwise is counter. Counterclockwise. And that's important to think about. If we are standing on the North Pole, we're standing on the North Pole, or we're looking down at the Earth is rotating in a counterclockwise direction. In other words, it's rotating, it's going around to the left in a circular motion. If it goes to the right in a circular motion, that's clockwise. This is counterclockwise. Okay? So the Earth is rotating in a counterclockwise direction. Rotate means to spin. It is spinning. This is what happens, day and night happen because the Earth is rotating. Okay. We talked a little bit, we've used this word quite a bit, object, right? We said the moon is an object, the sun is an object, planets are objects. An object is a thing that we can see and touch. It's matter. It's got some substance to it. This is important when we talk about an object in space. An object in space. Especially when we talk about outer space. When we talk about our solar system, our sun and the 8 planets are the solar system, right? But there's a lot of space between the planets. And our solar system, there's a lot of space between our star and the closest next star. So much space. So when scientists look up into space, they're looking for objects. They're looking for something that they can see. Not that they can touch, but if possible, if they could travel there, they could touch it. But most of space is empty space. Most of space is empty. Whoops, empty. Most of space is empty. There's nothing there. So when astronomers or scientists look into the sky, they are looking for objects. And objects can be planets, moons, stars, parts of planets, or very small, smaller objects than planets like Pluto. Pluto is not a planet because it's not big enough, okay? So they're looking for some type of object in the sky. Okay, let's take a look at our chart here. Our chart is labeled the sky above. And we can see many things in the sky above. These are all things that we can see. These are all what we talked about before. These are all objects. These are all objects that we can see in the sky. The sun, the moon, stars, and planet. Okay? All different types of objects. Let's go over them. The sun. The sun is the brightest object in the sky. The brightest. It is the brightest object. It is the only object, actually, that gives out light in our solar system, right? It is also the star. The sun is a star, just like any of those other stars you see at night. But those stars at night are so small because they're so far away, right? It's the star. Our sun is the star that's closest to the earth. So our sun seems much bigger, much brighter, much warmer than any other star that we can see in the sky. Let's take a look of a video. This is our sun. And this is a video of the sun. You can see, you know, it's not as dramatic as the other picture, but you can see how hot it is. The sun is just basically a ball of gas, a round ball of gas in the sky that is burning. It's so hot. We can never go to the sun and survive. We can never go there and touch it. And this heat and light that's coming off of the sun, that's what warms our earth. Okay, the next object in the sky that we're going to talk about is the moon. The moon is a ball of rock. So the moon is just basically like a really, really big rock. It's round in shape. It moves around the earth. So if this is the earth here, right? This is the earth. It's spinning. It's rotating in a counterclockwise direction. The moon is here. It's spinning around the world, the earth. It is also going in a counterclockwise direction. It's going in this direction. So that's interesting. If you look at the Earth from the North Pole down, the Earth is spinning in a counterclockwise direction. The moon is also moving around the Earth in a counterclockwise direction. And in fact, the Earth is moving around the sun in a counterclockwise direction. All the planets are going in the same direction around the sun. It's very interesting. Okay, let's move on to the stars. Stars is another object, other objects that we see in the night sky. They are objects in the sky that make their own light. They make their own light because basically stars are like the sun. The sun is a type of star. They're all burning balls of gas in the sun. They're burning. So they're giving off light. They're giving off heat. But they're so far away that we can only see a little bit of their light, just very small points of light in the night sky. Let's take a look. Here is a video of the stars. Now this is imaginary, right? We can't move this fast, but you can see the stars are moving around us. By the way, it's very interesting to note that these stars, if this was true, of course we're not anywhere close to being able to move this fast, but if this were true, all these stars that are moving past us, they would be in our galaxy. These bright points of light here, they're not really stars. Those are galaxies. That's another thing that you can see in the night sky. Galaxy. They're groups of light together. A galaxy has millions and millions and millions of stars all grouped together in a galaxy. And they are really, really, really far away, right? Our galaxy, we live in a galaxy, but we can also see other galaxies that are very, very far away. Okay, and the galaxy is full of many stars. It's a group of stars. So a galaxy is a group of stars. So these bright objects are galaxies, okay? And maybe we're going towards a star there. I'm not sure if that's another galaxy or not. But galaxy is a group of stars. And these individual stars that are going by us are in the galaxy that we're in. Okay, so our next objects in the night sky, in the sky above, are planets. And remember, planet is a very large object that moves around the sun. So these planets are all moving around the sun. Okay, so we have our 4 planets in the middle, the smaller planets, and the bigger planets on the outside. We have the 8 planets that move around the sun. Okay, so those we would call planets. Let's move on. We can see and touch. It doesn't have to be in space. It can be here on Earth. It can be in my hand. I can see this. I can touch it. This is what? Is it a sun? No, that would be too heavy and I would burn. We would all burn if it was a sun. A star? No, because a star and a sun are the same thing. A moon? No, that would be too heavy. A planet? Absolutely not. Rotate, object. Our only word that really fits that I can hold in my hand is an object. I can see it and touch it. But it's interesting to notice, object is the big word that takes all of these other words into it, right? Sun is an object. Star is an object. Moon is an object. Planet is an object. All of these things are objects, right? Rotate is not an object, that's a verb, okay? It means to spin, right? But all of these things are objects. So anything that we can see and touch is an object. We can see the sun. We can't touch it. We might be able to if we could survive long enough, right? We can see it, we can see stars, we can see moons, and we can see planets. So those are things we can see and touch. They are all objects. 2, the round object that moves around the earth. That moves around the earth. There's only one object that moves around the earth. And what is that? Is it the sun? Does the sun move around the earth? No, the sun stays where it is. The earth moves around the sun. We were talking about the moon. The moon moves around the earth. Okay? Okay. So number 3, the star closest to the earth that gives us light and warmth. Remember, the star that is closest to the earth, okay? We saw before that the sun is a type of star. Of course, it's the sun. The sun is a star, but it is the star closest to the earth. Most other stars, all other stars, are so far away that they don't give us light and warmth. They give us a little bit of light, but we can't really see by that light, right? We can see the light in the sky, but we're not really getting a lot of that light. We can just see very small pinpoint of light in the sky. Those are the other stars. But the sun, in the daytime, that rises up and we can see the sun. That's what gives us light. Okay, moving on to number 4. A bright object in the sky that makes its own light. So a bright object in the sky, it makes its own light. What can we say about that? The sun? Well, actually, the sun is a bright object in the sky that makes its own light. True. But what is the sun a type of? The sun is a type of star. So all stars are bright objects in the sky. They make their own light. We call that a star. True, you could say sun, but the sun is a type of star. So we're going to talk about all objects, right? We don't call all of those stars the sun. We call them stars. The sun is just one of those stars. Okay, number 5 is to spin. So we need a verb. Really, our only verb in this group, of course, is right there, to rotate. And rotate means to spin around, to move around on a pole, on its axis, right? So to spin means to rotate around, to spin around. You can rotate your body, right? You can spin around, right? You can rotate. So you rotate your body, you spin around. Okay, number 6. An object which moves around the sun. An object that moves around the sun. Not the earth, but around the sun. Remember, there are 8 of them. Okay? What are they? They, of course, are planets. So a planet is an object that moves around the sun. Which direction? Do you remember? Counterclockwise. It moves around the sun in a counterclockwise direction. So for you, that would be like this way. Okay? For me, it's this way. Okay. Okay. So that's a counterclockwise direction. Okay, now we have our interesting chart here. This chart is all about what causes day and night. We mentioned this before. Why is there sometimes day? Why is there sometimes night? Well, this chart helps us explain why there is day and night. Now remember, here we have the sun. The sun is far away, so it seems small here. Right now, we see that the earth, this part of the earth is facing the sun. So it's day here, because you can see the light from the sun illuminating this half of the earth. Now on the other side, right, the other side, these people over here, they can't see the sun. It's night over here. So the sun shines on different sides of the earth as it rotates. Remember, the Earth is rotating. Okay, and of course you see here the moon. But we're not worried about the moon right now. We just see that the Earth, as it spins, as it rotates, right, different parts will go into the nighttime side, other parts will come out in the daytime side. And so we have night and we have day as the Earth moves like this. It's spinning around. Of course, the sun can't shine on all parts at the same time. The sun is over here. So the part of the Earth that is farthest away from the sun, there's no light. That's nighttime. The part of the Earth that is closer to the sun, they're getting light. That is daytime. Okay, so very interesting. Okay, here we have our video. By the way, don't worry, this is just a computer graphic. The Earth isn't really this close to the sun. That would be dangerous, right? Looks like the sun is right next to the Earth. Everything would burn up. This is just a computer graphic to show how day and night happen. And also, we see the moon. Watch the moon as it revolves around the Earth. So let's start it here. As we can see, the moon is going around in a counterclockwise direction. You can see the Earth is rotating. Don't get confused by the cloud cover. The clouds are moving very quickly, but you can see the landmass is moving very slowly. We saw South America move slowly around. As South America moved around, it's becoming nighttime. Right now it's America, and on the east coast of America, it's getting darker and darker as the Earth rotates around like this, away from the sun. And of course, over in Asia, it's morning because Asia is on the other side and it's swinging around to face the sun. So as the Earth rotates, we get sunlight, okay? And that causes day over here and night over here. Okay. Let's take a look at these examples. Okay, A or B for each picture. So for A or B, what will we say? Where is A? If one of these pictures is over here on the side closer to the sun, we should write A. If it's on the side B side, that means it's away from the sun, on the side away from the sun. Of course, A would be daytime, B is nighttime. So we need to check which picture is correct. So for picture number 1, we can see a picture of a city here. There's a lot of light, right? Natural light. Looks like the sun is shining on this part of the world. So where is one? Is it over here and the side closest to the sun, or is it over here on the side away from the sun? Well, of course we should choose A, because wherever this is in the world, it's over on this side, it's closer to the sun. So the sun is shining down on this city right now. Over here in this picture, there is no light in the sky. The only light is man-made light, light generated from electricity. We can see there are many lights on in the city, but those are electric lights. There's no light in the sky. The sky is black, no light. So where is picture number 2? Is picture number 2 over here on the A side of the Earth or the B side of the Earth? Of course, we should choose B, because this picture was taken when the Earth was away from the sun on this side, okay? So this is nighttime. Of course, we can very simply just say daytime, nighttime. But we can see this side of the Earth is experiencing daytime, this side of the Earth is experiencing nighttime. And we know why, because it depends, as the Earth rotates, which side is facing the sun. Okay, let's move on to our true or false questions. Number 1. Stars are bright objects. Bright objects. They give off their own light that move around the Earth. So stars move around the Earth. Is that correct? No, that's not correct. Stars don't move around the Earth. Stars are out there in space. They don't really rotate around the Earth. The Earth rotates around the sun. Those stars are moving, but they could be moving in many different directions. They're not rotating or moving around the Earth. They're not doing that, okay? So they don't move around the Earth. Number 2, the sun is the planet closest to the Earth. Is the sun is a planet closest to the Earth? That's not true. The sun is not a planet. The sun is a star. So this sentence is not correct. The sun is the star closest to the Earth. That would be correct, but we have to change the sentence to make it correct, so it is false. the sun is not a planet, the sun is a star. Number 3, planets move around the sun. So the sun stays still and the planets move around the sun. Is that true? Absolutely, that is true. That's what we learned before. The planets are big objects that move around the sun. They are not giving out their own light, but remember, there are 8 planets in our solar system. Earth is one of those planets. They all move around the sun. Okay, so that wraps it up for our vocabulary section. Let's take a short break here and move on to the reading section. Okay, welcome back. Let's go over the reading passage together. In the reading passage, we're starting off with the sun. Every day, the sun looks like it is moving across the sky. That's true, right? If you wake up in the morning, the sun is over in the east. And it seems like during the day, the sun moves across the sky from east and goes down in the west. So, actually, the sun isn't moving, right? For hundreds of years, people thought that the sun moved, the earth stayed still, because they could see that the sun is moving. They didn't realize that the earth was moving. It wasn't until a scientist named Galileo came along, Galileo, an Italian scientist who came along and said, no, the earth is moving around the sun, not the sun moving around the earth. So that's interesting. Actually, the sun is not moving. Galileo was the one who showed that to everybody else. The sun looks like it's moving as the earth rotates. The earth is moving, so it rotates like this. It's spinning around, so it seems like the sun is moving around the earth. And we saw the video of that earlier. When the side we live on, so the side we live on faces the sun, we have day. So as the earth is spinning, the side that we live on is facing the sun, we have day. When the side we live on turns away from the sun, we have night. So the side, we're talking about the sides, right? 2 sides of the earth. Only one side of the earth can face the sun at one time. So when the side we live on, the side that we live on, faces the sun, then we have day. When the side we live on turns away from, so face or turn away from the sun, then we have night. So as the sun is rotating, the side we live on is facing the sun, but then it turns away from the sun. Then we have night. And remember, the sun is not moving, the earth is moving. Okay. In the day sky, so during the daytime, in the day sky, we can see the sun. That's about all we can see. You know, like sometimes I said, sometimes you can see the moon, but usually we can only see the sun. The sun is so bright, it's giving us so much light that we can't see anything else. It's so bright. If you look at a lamp or a street lamp, if you look at that, it's so bright, all you can see is that light. Don't do that, right? Because that's not good for your eyes. But also, if you're driving a car at night, the lights, all you can see are the other car's lights. It's like the sun. The sun is so bright, that's all the light you can see. You can't see the other stars. They're there, you just can't see them because the sun is so bright. The sun, of course, is a star. And a star is an object that makes its own light. So like I said, all the stars are making their own light. It's just that the star is so close and giving us so much light, its light is too powerful for the other stars. We can't see them. But all stars give their own light. The sun gives us light, it gives us warmth. So the sun gives light and warmth where? To the earth. It gives us warmth and it gives us light. It's the star that's closest to the earth. Okay. There's no sunlight in the night sky. Of course, there's no sunlight in the night sky because the night sky, remember, that means the earth is turned away from the sun. We're on the opposite side of the earth. We can't see the sun. So there's no sunlight in the night sky. In the night sky, however, we can see planets. We can see other stars and we can see the moon. But how can we see planets and the moon if the planets and the moon don't give off light? Only stars give off the light. It's interesting. If we're here, we're in the earth, right? And we're on the night side. The sun is over here, right? Shining. If there's a planet over here, the light from the sun hits that planet and is reflected back, and that's how people on the night side can see those planets. Same thing for the moon. Here's the moon. Now this light hits the moon, and these people can see it on this side. So the planet and the moon are not giving their own light. The planet and the moon are taking the sun's light and shooting it back or reflecting it back to the earth so we can see it on the night side. That's how we can see planets and the moon in the night sky. But remember, that's because most of the light is gone. It's not too bright at that time. The light from the sun is not so bright, so powerful that we can't see the moon, the planets, or even other stars that are way, way out there. Okay, planets are objects that move around the sun. So these planets, of course, are moving around the sun. The Earth is a planet. It moves around the sun. Of course, the Earth is a planet. The moon, what I've shown here, the moon is the object that moves around the Earth. So it's moving around the Earth. The moon is the object that moves around the Earth. And the Earth is a planet that moves around the sun. Okay. Planets, stars, and the moon look small. Sure, they look small. Why? Because they are far away from the Earth. This is kind of a computer graphic, of course. We can take a look. We see these little pinpoints of stars here and there. We see the moon right there, right? It's very hard to see. Of course, this is a graphic. The moon sometimes looks very big, right? But it's small. In comparison, if we got to the moon, if we got landed on the moon, we can't see the whole moon. It's very, very big. But of course, it looks smaller because it is far, far, far away from the Earth. Especially planets, and other stars. Other stars are so far away. It's really, really hard to imagine how far other stars are away from our sun. And especially galaxies, how far away other galaxies are from us. So, so far. We'll probably never, ever be able to go there. Who knows? One day we might be able to, but it's really, really, it's so far that it's really not likely that we could go that far. But planets, they're very, very far away from the Earth. Space is really, really big. Okay, let's move on. We have our reading skill here, the main idea and details. The main idea that we can say here is that the Earth rotates. That's one of our main ideas in this lesson. The Earth rotates. And why? What happens? It gives us day and night. So we have the details, day and night. Because the Earth rotates, we have day and we have night. The details, we only have one detail for day. We have 3 details for night. We need to fill in the blanks here. We have 4 blanks, 4 words: moon, star, light, planet. So let's see. We've learned a lot of interesting ideas in this lesson. Let's see if we can remember those ideas. Let's talk about day first. During the day, in the daytime, we can see the sun. Of course we can see the sun. Don't look at it, though, for very long, because that will hurt your eyes. You can see the sun. The sun gives what? Beep, and warmth to the earth. Gives warmth, and what else does the sun give? We talked about that quite a bit, right? We said it gives us light. The sun gives light and warmth to the earth, and that's during the daytime. During the nighttime, A or an beep moves around the sun. So what moves around the sun? Moon, star, light, planet. A planet moves around the sun. And the planet that we're talking about, especially at nighttime, is the Earth. The Earth is moving around the sun, but it's also rotating, right? Okay. The sun doesn't move around the Earth moves around the sun. What do we have here in C? The beep moves around the Earth. So at night we can see it. What is it? It's, of course, the moon. The moon moves around the Earth, right? It catches the sun's light, it shines it back to us, and we can see it. It's very impressive as it moves through the night sky. Over here, we have a beep makes its own light. So at nighttime we can see them. Daytime we can't see them, but at night what can we see? Little points of light in the sky. Many, many points of light. Of course, those are stars. So a star makes its own light. Okay, so that's our reading chart here. Main idea, the Earth rotates. We can see the sun during the day. It gives us light and warmth. At night, we can see the planets are moving around the sun. We can see the moon is moving around the earth. We can also see that the stars at night, they are making their own light. Okay, let's go over some reading comprehension questions. In the night sky, you cannot see the what? You cannot see the sun, the moon, or planets. Remember that diagram I showed you before, right? This quick review. Here's the earth. Here's the night sky. The sun is over here. Can you see the sun? No, you can't. If you're over here on the surface, you can't see the sun. So A is our correct answer. Can you see the moon? Sure. Remember I showed you the light is hitting the moon and showing it to the people on the dark side of the earth. Can you see planets? Sure. If a planet is out here, the light is hitting the planet and it's reflected back, and we can see other planets too. So we can see the moon, we can see planets, but we cannot see the sun because we're over here. Okay. Number 2. What is the planet we live on? What is this planet that moves around the sun? Do we call it the Earth? Do we call it the moon? Or do we call it the star? If you said yes when I said the Earth, you are right. It's the Earth. We call this planet that we live on the Earth. The Earth is our home, right? We don't live on the moon. There's no air there, right? We'd die, right? We don't live on the star. It's too hot. We would burn up. This is our home. We live on the earth. Okay. Number 3. The moon and planets look small, right? The moon is actually very, very big, but it looks small in the night sky. Planets, some planets are bigger than the earth, but they also look small. They look smaller than the moon, even though they're bigger than the moon. But they look small because, why? A, they are close to the sun. B, they are bigger than the stars. Or C, they are far away from the earth. Well, of course, we know it's number C, right? Because if we take an object, and the further away that object goes from us, the smaller and smaller it becomes. The moon is far away from the earth, so it seems smaller than it really is. The planets are even further away from the moon, so they seem smaller than the moon, because they are far, far, far away from the earth. Very far away. Number 4. The side of the earth that is facing the sun. So if we have the side of the earth that is facing the sun, what happens? A, has both day and night because of the sun. Can the side of the earth, can any side of the earth have both day and night at the same time? No, that's not, you can't do that, right? The side of the earth that is facing the sun, they get daytime. They don't get night. They only have day. So A is not correct. That doesn't make sense. The side of the earth that is facing the sun has only day, not night. Only day. Has only day. Okay. B, has night and you cannot see the sun. So the side of the earth that is facing the sun has night. No, that's not right. Remember we talked about facing and turned away from. Facing the sun means the sun is in the sky. We are facing the sun. We can see the sun. That's not night, right? So that can't be the answer either. C, has day. Okay, well if we can see the sun, it's day. And you can see the sun, right? Because we're facing the sun. So C, of course, is our correct answer in that case. Okay, let's move on to our chart. And we come back to this chart that we saw before, the sky above. These are objects that we can see in the sky. These are the pictures of those objects, and this is a description of those objects. The first object, here's a picture. You probably got it already. Let's take a look at the description. The brightest object in the sky. So the brightest object in our sky, what is it? It's also the star that is closest. It's the closest to the earth. Of course, we know that object as the sun. That object is the sun. Next, we have a ball of rock. A ball of rock that moves around the earth. This is the earth. This is the ball of rock we're looking at. It moves around the earth. What do we call that thing? We can see that especially in the night sky. That is the moon. We can see the moon. It's a ball of rock that moves around the earth. And the third one, objects in the sky that make their own light. They make their own light. These are the only objects in the sky that make their own light, right? The moon doesn't make its own light. Planets don't make their own light. Only stars make their own light. When we look up at the night sky, we can see many stars. Finally, down here, we're looking at a very large object that moves around the sun. So these large objects, this is our sun, this is our earth right here, 1, 2, 3 from the sun. All these other objects, they move around the sun. What do we call those? Remember, there are 8 of them in our solar system. We call those planets, or it's a planet, a very large object that moves around the sun. It's very fascinating. When at nighttime, if it's okay with your parents, go outside, look up at the night sky. You can see many amazing and beautiful objects. You can see all of these things. During the daytime, you can see the sun. But again, don't look at the sun for very long. Just, okay, there it is. You can see the sun. You can see pictures of the sun. These are all amazing objects that are in our sky. They're very, very, very far away, so they're mysterious. It's hard to get close to them, but it's very, very interesting to read about them and know that these objects are in the sky around us. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. It's a very interesting subject. We'll see you again next time. Take care, everybody.